If you are planning to visit, live, work, or do business in the Philippines, there is one subject you will eventually encounter: corruption. You may hear stories about politicians accused of stealing public money. You may encounter bureaucratic delays that suddenly disappear when someone offers to help. You may hear about fixers, political connections, under-the-table payments, or government projects that cost far more than they should. But here is the important point. Corruption in the Philippines is not simply a story about dishonest politicians. It is a complicated problem involving politics, bureaucracy, business, poverty, personal relationships, weak enforcement, and sometimes ordinary people simply trying to navigate a difficult system. And if you're a foreigner, understanding how this works can help you avoid becoming part of the problem or becoming a victim of it. In this video, we're going to look at how corruption can become woven into everyday life in the Philippines, why it is so difficult to eliminate, and most importantly, how you can deal with it without getting yourself into trouble. When people hear the word corruption, they often imagine a politician putting millions of pesos into a secret bank account. That certainly can happen. But corruption can operate on a much smaller scale. It can involve a government employee asking for money to speed up paperwork. It can involve a person paying a fixer to obtain a document. It can involve someone using political connections to obtain a government contract. It can involve a business owner giving an unofficial payment to make a problem disappear. And sometimes it can be much more subtle. Someone might tell you, "That's just how things work here." Or, "You need to know somebody." Or, "Give something small and we'll get it done." This is where corruption becomes particularly difficult to fight. Because once an unofficial system becomes normalized, people can stop seeing it as corruption. They start seeing it as the way business is done. There isn't one single explanation. The Philippines is a large archipelago with thousands of islands, a huge population, significant economic inequality, and a complicated government system. Historically, political power has often been concentrated among influential families and local networks. In many areas, relationships matter enormously. Who do you know? Who knows your family? Who can introduce you to the right person? Who can make a phone call? This culture of personal relationships isn't automatically corrupt. Filipinos are generally very relationship-oriented, and helping friends, relatives, and acquaintances is a normal part of social life. But the problem starts when personal relationships become more important than transparent rules. For example, imagine two people applying for the same government service. One person waits in line and follows the official process. The other person knows someone inside the office. Suddenly, the second person's application moves faster. That's when the system becomes unfair. And when people repeatedly experience this, they may begin to believe that following the rules simply isn't enough. Another factor is economic pressure. If a government employee is poorly paid and has significant financial responsibilities, there can be temptation to accept unofficial payments. That doesn't excuse corruption, but it helps explain why corruption can survive. At the same time, ordinary citizens can sometimes participate because they are desperate to solve a problem. Imagine needing an important document urgently. You have already waited several weeks. Someone tells you, "Pay me and I'll get it done tomorrow." If you are desperate enough, you may be tempted. And once both sides participate, the unofficial system reinforces itself. The person offering the money thinks, "Everybody does it." The person accepting the money thinks, "People are willing to pay." And the cycle continues. One subject that frequently comes up when discussing Philippine corruption is political dynasties. Political families can have enormous influence in certain provinces and municipalities. Again, being part of a political family does not automatically mean someone is corrupt. That's an important distinction. The issue is what happens when political power, business interests, government resources, and personal networks become tightly connected. If the same families or networks control political positions for generations, competition can become weaker. And when competition is weak, accountability can also become weaker. This is one reason why corruption should not simply be viewed as individual bad behavior. Sometimes it is about systems of power. Now let's talk about you. If you're a foreigner living in or visiting the Philippines, what should you do? The first rule is simple. Don't assume that because somebody asks for money, you should pay it. This is especially important if the payment is unofficial. You might hear, "Don't worry, it's just a small amount," or "This is normal," or "Everybody gives something." Don't automatically accept that explanation. Instead, calmly ask, "What is the official fee? Can I get a receipt? Can you show me where this fee is listed?" Those three questions can completely change the conversation. There is an important difference between a tip and a bribe. If a waiter provides excellent service and you voluntarily leave a tip, that's normal. But if a government employee says, "Give me money and I'll process your application," that's a completely different situation. You need to understand the distinction. If you're uncertain, ask for an official receipt. A legitimate government fee should normally have an official basis and documentation. If someone becomes uncomfortable when you ask for a receipt, that's a warning sign. One of the biggest problems foreigners can encounter is the fixer. A fixer is someone who claims they can use connections to get government paperwork or other official processes completed faster. Sometimes they may genuinely know how to navigate bureaucracy, but sometimes they are exploiting foreigners who don't understand the system. The danger isn't only financial. You could end up submitting incorrect documents, paying excessive fees, or becoming involved in something illegal without fully understanding what happened. My advice? Whenever possible, deal directly with the relevant government office or official online system. Don't hand over your passport, money, or sensitive documents to a stranger simply because they promise to make everything easier. Another mistake foreigners sometimes make is thinking, "I have money. I'll just pay someone to make the problem disappear." This can be extremely dangerous. Even if someone tells you that bribery is common, that doesn't mean it is safe or legal. And being a foreigner doesn't protect you from Philippine law. In fact, being unfamiliar with the system can make you more vulnerable. If someone asks you for an unofficial payment, don't immediately become aggressive. Stay calm. Ask questions. Document what is happening. Request official procedures, and if necessary, seek professional legal advice. This is one of the best strategies you can use. Keep copies of applications, keep receipts, save emails, take note of names, dates, reference numbers, and official instructions. If you're dealing with a government office, keep a record of what you submitted and when. Why? Because documentation gives you leverage. Instead of saying, "Someone told me something," you can say, "Here is my application number. Here is the receipt. Here is the date I submitted everything." That makes your situation much easier to resolve. Whenever possible, use official government websites, offices, payment systems, and publish procedures. Don't rely exclusively on a friend of a friend. And don't assume that the person who says they can make things easier is actually helping you. Sometimes the best way to protect yourself is simply to make the process boring. Follow the rules, pay the official fee, get the receipt, keep the documents, follow up professionally. It may take longer, but you're creating a paper trail. There's another important point. When discussing corruption, it is very easy to make a dangerous mistake. You start with, "Some government officials are corrupt." Then it becomes, "Government in the Philippines is corrupt." And eventually, "Filipinos are corrupt." That last statement is simply unfair. Millions of Filipinos work honestly every day. There are honest government employees, honest police officers, honest business owners, honest politicians, journalists, activists, lawyers, teachers, and ordinary citizens who strongly oppose corruption. Corruption is a governance problem. It is not a characteristic of an entire nationality. And if you're going to live in the Philippines, respecting that distinction is important. So let's say you're actually in the situation. Someone tells you that your paperwork won't move unless you pay extra. What do? First, stay calm. Second, don't threaten the person. Third, ask whether the payment is an official fee. Fourth, request documentation or a receipt. Fifth, record the relevant details if it is safe and lawful to do so. And sixth, consider reporting the incident through the appropriate official channel or obtaining advice from a qualified Philippine lawyer or your embassy or consular service. Don't turn the situation into a confrontation. Your goal isn't to win an argument. Your goal is to protect yourself and resolve the problem legally. If you're running a business in the Philippines, corruption can become even more complicated. You may encounter people who suggest that a payment will help you obtain a permit, win a contract, speed up an inspection, or solve a bureaucratic problem. This is where professional advice becomes extremely valuable. Keep your business finances transparent. Use proper invoices, keep receipts, document payments, have contracts reviewed when necessary, and make sure you understand both Philippine law and any laws that may apply to you because of your home country or business structure. Saving a few thousand pesos today isn't worth creating a serious legal problem tomorrow. Interestingly, one of the best ways to navigate the Philippines is to build good relationships, but do it ethically. Find reputable accountants, lawyers, business advisors, property professionals, and other people who understand the local system. Ask other foreigners and Filipinos for recommendations. Check credentials. Use established businesses. And don't simply trust somebody because they say, "I'm your friend." Trust should develop through experience. A good local professional can help you understand the system without encouraging you to break the rules. That's very different from someone saying, "Give me money and I'll fix it." Living in another country can sometimes create a strange psychological effect. You may initially say, "I would never do that." Then after 6 months, you become frustrated. You see other people getting things done faster. You hear, "That's just the Philippines." And eventually you start thinking, maybe I should just play the game. This is exactly when you need to be careful. You don't have to become naive. You don't have to pretend problems don't exist. But you also don't have to become part of the problem. You can learn how the system works while maintaining your own standards. Corruption in the Philippines is a complicated issue. It isn't simply about greedy politicians. It can involve political power, personal relationships, bureaucracy, economic inequality, weak enforcement, and a culture in which unofficial solutions can sometimes become normalized. But here's the good news. You don't have to participate in it. If you're a foreigner in the Philippines, protect yourself by understanding the system. Ask for official fees, get receipts, keep documentation, avoid fixers, use legitimate professionals. Don't make unofficial payments simply because somebody says they're normal. And most importantly, don't assume that corruption represents Filipino people as a whole. The Philippines is full of honest, hardworking people who want better institutions and a fairer society. Your job as a foreigner isn't to lecture the country or try to change it overnight. Your job is to understand where you are, respect the people who live there, follow the law, and make smart decisions. Because ultimately, the safest way to deal with corruption isn't to learn how to participate in it. It's to learn how to navigate around it, legally, calmly, and intelligently. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own experiences in the comments. Have you ever encountered corruption or a fixer in the Philippines? Let me know what happened, and I'll see you in the next video.